What's up, YouTube? And welcome to CollegeSlacker. Today, we're looking at an article titled Being Cocky, and it was written by an author who goes by CollegeSlacker, with his motto being living the dream and slacking one day at a time. Let's begin. It starts off with a story about him and a girl at a bar, and how him being cocky led to a makeout session at the bar. I've always been pretty cocky, but once I started to learn up on game, I've been able to refine it, focus it, and make it a huge part of my game. It has had nothing but positive results. Not only does having a cocky, funny attitude make girls want to qualify themselves to you, it builds interest like crazy. It comes naturally to me now, so I'm not sure I can explain how to do it best, but I'll try and break it down the best I can anyway. Let me start with an example from last night. There's a slow backstory on the guy. He is a natural, cocky, funny guy. And by reading up on game, he was able to take it one step further and improve it where he had nothing but positive results. And he's going to go into an example of him at a bar with a chick. He states, I was getting mad indicators of interest. That's what IOI stands for. From this girl when I was getting a beer at the bar. So I approached with the biggest shitting grin on the planet. Hey, I noticed you checking me out. She laughs and gives me an incredulous look. Oh, really? She pauses, laughs again, eyes sparkling. She asks, what's your name? I tell her, no, what's your name? She laughs again and gives me an incredulous look. Oh, okay then. My name's Rebecca. What's your name? I'm not that easy. You have to wine and dine me first. She laughs. You're ridiculous. How did you get your head through the door? I moved her off her stool with a fox handshake and took it, placing her between my outspread legs. We continued to talk while I escalated Kino. I don't remember all the specifics of the conversation, but I do remember a few tidbits. She says, I feel like I've seen you before. Are you friends with Tom? I tell her everybody knows me, so probably. She gives me another look and smiles. Oh my God, you're ridiculous. You just think you're so cool, don't you? And I let her know, hey, you said it. It's not me. Later on, when I had to go to the bathroom, I told her to wash my drink, making her promise she won't roofie me because I could tell she was thinking about it. She couldn't believe I just said that and punched me in the arm, laughing, and called me an asshole. I would tease her about this and that, and I never let her establish any frame over me. Anytime she tried to send a comeback my way, I swat that shit aside with a raised eyebrow and cocky ass smirk. She loved it. About 6 or 7 different times during our interaction, without prompting, she blurted out things like, you just think you're so cool, or you have the biggest ego I've ever seen, as well as, you're ridiculous, or any variation of those. She was madly intrigued at this dude in front of her who was so full of himself and said all these outlandish things. After a half hour later, I escalated to make out in front of God and everyone at this very chill bar. Heads turned. I didn't give a shit. She spent the rest of the night all up on me and wanting more. What happened last night has been my modus operandi for a while. This interaction is nearly a duplicate of every conversation I've had with a girl I seduced within the past few months. Every girl responds to it in the same manner. They can't believe how cocky I am, but they love it. They randomly blurt out stuff about how cool I think I am and whatnot, despite me not having said anything of the sort. It's just my overall demeanor, my smirk, my body language, my unwillingness to play to their frames. My always teasing manner, the way I act like my shit don't stink, the belief that I'm the coolest cat at the bar, that is raising my value to them. So let's take a stop there, and I wanna point out a few things that I've noticed throughout this story. And these are the things that I believe every man should incorporate into his interactions with women. So first and foremost, this article is about being cocky, specifically being cocky and funny. So learn how to be cocky and funny. While I currently don't have a video on it today, I'm sure sometime in the future there'll be a more in-depth video. So number 1, he says he approached with the biggest shit-eating grin on the planet. You're gonna approach a lady, make sure you're smiling. Okay? That sets up the interaction right. Think about if someone was coming up to you and they were mean mugging you as they were approaching you. The last thing you're thinking about is having a great time with them. In fact, you're trying to figure out what does this guy want because you might have to fight them. Right? And it's even worse if a guy is mean mugging a woman as he's approaching. It's very natural for a woman to be vulnerable. So if you're a man and you're approaching a woman and you look like you're about to punch her in the face, you're starting off on the wrong foot. Secondly, the first thing out of his mouth was, I noticed you checking me out. He didn't say anything dumb. He didn't try to be smart. He literally stated what was happening. He was in the moment. Right before he approached, he realized that this girl was looking at him. So he approached saying exactly that. Hey, I noticed you were looking at me. In this case, hey, I noticed you checking me out. Right? Secondly, whenever she would ask a question in the story, it was, what's your name? He would say, no, what's your name? Right? He's not answering her questions. And she answering the questions. And the next time it happens again, after she gives her name, she says, okay, well, what's your name? And again, in a funny way, he redirects, right? In the last video, we talked about frame. He redirects and he says, I'm not that easy. You have to wine and dine me first. So again, not falling into her frame, keeping his frame. That's something we have to work on. And the next thing, which in this case, it's great, is more like what you can do in the situation. And in this case, he took control of their interaction by shaking her hand, picking her up, moving her to the side, and sitting down her seat, and then bringing her close to him. And then afterwards, during the interaction, all the way up until he had to go use the bathroom, he was just flirting with her and being funny and being cocky and teasing her. Just having a good time, right? You don't have to be in your head. You don't have to be thinking about what's the next thing to say. Just be in the moment. If you notice the girl is checking you out and you're at a bar, go up and talk to her. Open her up with exactly what you see, and then tease her and have a good time. It's about having fun. Girls just want to have fun. Right? So girls want to have fun. And then at the very end of this little story, he's saying about a half an hour later, I escalated and he made out with her in the bar. She enjoyed it and he enjoyed it. And that's all it was. Right? So let me recap that real quick. 1, practice being cocky funny. 2, when you approach, be in the moment and state exactly what's happening. 3, maintain your frame and don't fall into her frame. 4, some way in shape or form, take control of your environment. And 5, have fun and tease her. All right, those are the 5 things that this story is telling us that we can all appreciate, learn how to do, and use the next time we're out. We see a chick that we like and we want to approach. Let's continue. He states, so fellas, the moral of the story is, if you aren't cocky, become cocky. Even if you have nothing to be cocky about, be cocky. Unleash that part of you that thinks you're the coolest person you know. It will aid your seduction like you wouldn't believe. The girls love it. Make bold, outlandish statements about yourself just to get a reaction from her. Always be teasing. Never apologize. Everything she says is cute and gets treated with a raised eyebrow, a smirk, laughter, which would be at her, not with her, and all the above. Right? So let's stop right here. He's stating, even if you don't have anything to be cocky about, be cocky. Right? And something that we can all be cocky about is thinking that we're the coolest person in the world. Right? In a sense, one could argue that that's what being cocky about is. So as long as you think you're the coolest person in the world and you display that in a playfully and teasing way, girls will like it. And he says something that you can try to do is just to make bold, outlandish statements about yourself with the goal to get a reaction out of her, right? And we talked about this briefly in another video. If you're able to get an emotional reaction out of a woman, whether it's good or bad, it will cause attraction. And ideally, we always want that to be a good emotion. But again, getting a reaction out of her is a good thing. And he gives us one more tip, and he says never apologize. And treat everything she says as cute. Raised eyebrow, a smirk, a laughter, and all of them at the same time. And so we continue. Just remember, there's a fine line between cocky and arrogant. Cocky is knowing you're better and playfully teasing girls because of this. Arrogant is knowing you're better and insulting everyone because of this. Right? It's a very key difference. Do not be arrogant. Do not insult people. Just be cocky and playfully tease a chick. And he ends the article with, holy shit, Mac Miller just dropped this new stuff last night. Take a look at it. Stuff is ill. Shout out to Mac Miller. Rest in peace. And that's the end of the article. So just remember, guys, try to practice being cocky funny. Okay? Girls dig it. Girls love it. And if there's anything you learn from this article, pretend that you are the best person in the world and unleash that part of you. Start there if you want to learn how to be cocky. And remember, playfully do it. Don't insult anybody. I want to thank you guys for stopping by. If you feel like you've learned something in this article or want to add to it, please leave a comment down below. I'm always happy to chat with you. And I'll see you next time. Peace.